What are the benefits of liquidation, specifically a creditor's voluntary liquidation? Well, there are many benefits, but one is the process, so that the director is in control of the process and therefore in control of the timing. So the director can choose when the company enters into liquidation. And so what that means is that the director can have a clear strategy beforehand as to when things are going to happen, and it can be to suit the company and the director. It also means that the director knows when the company is going to go into liquidation and is able to communicate that to creditors, employees and other stakeholders, so everyone knows where they're up to in the process. The other reason to place a company into creditors voluntary liquidation when it's insolvent is that creditors have to deal with the liquidator, so someone like myself, and basically once it goes into liquidation we write to all the creditors and we ask for them to liaise with ourselves in regards to the amounts that they're owed. So it relieves the pressure from the director, because often directors are under a huge amount of stress and they're having to answer questions by the creditor, which can sometimes be very hostile, understandably, because they are owed money. But we take that over and we let the creditor lodge what's known as a proof of debt, which is their claim, how much they're owed in the liquidation. But ultimately the creditors, if there's no dividend, i.e. they're not going to get any of their money back, will have to write it off. So HMRC, for example, will not write off their liability until the company is in liquidation. So this is a benefit of a creditor's voluntary liquidation, rather than matters just going on, no one knowing what's happening or when things are going to happen. Putting it into a creditor's voluntary liquidation means that the creditors are notified and they have to write off their liability. If there is going to be a dividend, they'll liaise with me in regards to their claim. So it alleviates the pressure from the director and also helps the creditors understand their position. Another benefit, which directors often don't appreciate until I speak to them and explain, is that when a company is insolvent, i.e. it can't pay its debts as and when they fall due, the director is responsible for that company and its actions, and when it's insolvent, it's vital that the director does everything correctly. You might unknowingly carry out a transaction at an undervalue or a preference payment, preferring one creditor above the other. There are strict rules in regards to what a director can and can't do when the company is insolvent, and not every director automatically knows it. Why would you? So a benefit of putting the company into a creditor's voluntary liquidation is someone like myself, a licensed insolvency practitioner, is there to advise a director on what to do and what not to do, and you can ask questions, run things past us. Ultimately it's the director's responsibility, but I can advise you whether or not I think you should do it or whether or not there's things that you can do. For example, if you're looking to sell a company vehicle, absolutely fine, but let's make sure it's for fair value. So what does that mean? It's not as simple as just getting an online valuation, because as you can appreciate, there's some directors out there who may inflate the mileage or the age or the condition of the vehicle, and you know, and it shouldn't be done like that. So the director should keep documentation, and I would have advised take a picture of the mileage, take a picture of the vehicle, etc. So it's things like that that we can help the director with, and it gives them peace of mind that they know they've done everything correctly during this crucial period. There's so many times that directors have come to me and they have been worried, they're not sleeping at night because they just don't know what to do and they're worried they've done something wrong. So putting the company into creditors voluntary liquidation and having someone like myself help means that you get that peace of mind that you're doing things correctly. Another benefit is for the employees, and as we know as business owners, our employees are the heart of the company, and we want to do them, we want to do well by them, and it might be that unfortunately they are owed wage arrears and then you've not been able to pay them their redundancy and notice or any holiday that they're owed, so they can be owed money. And I know, lots of directors are also friendly with their staff, they may have been there for many years and you have a loyalty to them. But putting a company into Creditors Voluntary Liquidation allows the employees to claim from the Redundancy Payment Service, a government body, for their entitlement. Now it is capped, but they can make that claim and the Redundancy Payment Service will pay them what they think they are owed. So it's another benefit for the employees that they're able to make that claim and get that much needed wage arrears, holiday pay, notice pay and redundancy pay when the company is unable to pay it. The Redundancy Payment Service will not pay the employees until the company is in liquidation. You cannot say it's going to go into liquidation or the company is insolvent or the company can't afford to pay these wage arrears, etc. to the employees. It has to go into liquidation. Until it does, the company is always responsible for it. And then finally, as I touched on a moment ago, by putting it into Creditors Voluntary Liquidation, you will get a clear strategy in regards to the assets as to what to do with them and what not to do with them. And again, it links into protecting the directors so that you don't do anything untoward, even naively without realising. But if you have someone like myself, a licensed insolvency practitioner, I can advise you what to do with the assets. And it might be as simple as getting a valuation, and we can put you in touch with the valuation and liaise with them in regards to getting the information that they need. And then if we have a buyer for the assets, it may be an unconnected party, or it might be the director in a different entity, in a intercompany, for example. I'll advise what the rules are and how it all works, and I can also explain that to creditors so that they don't think that there's something untoward going on, and I can confirm that everything has been done above board and been monitored by someone like myself, and that just gives the transparency and the reassurance that creditors need at a difficult time. So as I've said, there's lots of benefits in regards to putting it into a Creditors Voluntary Liquidation. We have the process and the timing, dealing with the creditors, helping the directors and advising them, with the employees so they're able to claim off the Redundancy Payment Service, and then having a clear strategy in regards to the assets. So if anyone wants to get in touch, just head to our website or contact the office and we can help further. Okay, thank you.